unfortunately, to a crashing end. We're going to talk all about it. We're going to talk about the game, what's wrong with this Phillies, and what the Phillies need to do to get to where they want to be, to get our effing trophy back. Trending in the AM, we're live in 60 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody. Welcome to Trending in the AM right here on the all-new STT Sports Network. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. You know the drill. Wherever you're watching, please hit that like, share, subscribe, follow button. But do me that favor. If you're not watching on YouTube, find the STT Sports Network YouTube page and hit that subscribe button. That is the best place to watch the show, the best way you can help me grow this channel and grow what we're doing, setting the trends for what sports talk really should be. So please hit that subscribe button right there. I'm Phil Stiefel. Unfortunately, here bringing you news that the Phillies season came to an end last night, 4-1 against the New York Mets. They lose in the NLDS, 3-1 in the series, and I'm not even in a hate stage right now. I'm just in a. It is what it is. It's what I expected. It's disappointing, but we kind of should have foreseen this happening. This Phillies team was pretty average at best for a long, long time. And why we thought anything but that, I don't know. Guys, we might talk a little Eagles later. We might have a special guest later. Real quick, I want to shout out to everybody in Florida. I know everybody in Florida is waking up this morning. They don't care about the Phillies this morning. They care about making sure their homes are safe, that they are safe, that their loved ones are safe. Hurricane Milton definitely was definitely packed a big wallop on Florida there, and the damage is pretty severe. I was just watching. I just turned it off here. So my thoughts are with everybody in the state of Florida today as they start the recovery process from another catastrophic hurricane. We get right to the comments, Brian. Phillies down, Eagles next. 76ers the only team worth a damn. Well, I don't know about that. I got some positive vibes coming out of Eagles practice yesterday. I'm ready to go all in. As you can see, I got my Super Bowl champion Eagles shirt on. I got to have some positive vibes today because I am far too down after the Phillies game. I'm not mad. I'm not pissed off. I'm just disappointed because, yeah, we need to be disappointed in this Phillies team. And there's a lot that's going to need to change this offseason for the Philadelphia Phillies. Good morning, Duck. I don't think Brian is a Philly teams fan, actually. Maybe not. Maybe not. This ain't it, brother. Every year, same results. Well, I said it. Now let's backtrack, Marshawn. For new people to the channel, new people that aren't used to following me and my content for a long time, I said after the loss in the 2022 World Series that I understood the Phillies had to give Rob Thompson another chance. But I said they shouldn't just give it to him, that they should evaluate other options for managers because Rob Thompson is not a manager. The big guy. He's not one perfect to sit in the big chair. I said it last year. We will never win a World Series with Rob Thompson as the manager of this baseball team. And I stand by this statement. The Philadelphia Phillies don't need your favorite drunk uncle from Thanksgiving, to be their manager. You don't respect the drunk uncle. The drunk uncle's fun. He's cool to hang out with. He's not going to hold you accountable he's going to let you take a sip of his whiskey when no one's looking. But Rob Thompson will never, ever lead us to a World Series championship. And if John Middleton is serious about this, I want my effing trophy back shit, then he's got to start with Rob Thompson. He's got to consider moving on from Dave Dombrowski, too. He probably won't, but he should. He's got to consider making some tough calls on some very popular clubhouse players. The clubhouse vibes just don't matter anymore. What matters is winning. What matters is consistency. What matters is discipline, accountability. And the Phillies don't have any of that. And it starts with the guy that needs to instill that. And I'm sick and tired of every time I put out there a thought that Rob Thompson's not the guy. Everyone tells me, well, he's a winning manager. Well, he's a regular season winning manager. Everyone says, well, who else do you want? It's not my job to pick the next manager. I'm just here to give you my opinion that Rob Thompson isn't the guy to get us a title. He's just not. And it's frustrating because everybody loves Rob Thompson. I like Rob Thompson. He's a nice guy. He'd be cool to have over for Thanksgiving dinner. He'd be cool to sit on my front porch and have a drink with. But he's not there's a reason why he was never a manager through 40 years. There's a reason why he almost retired before 2022. It's time for him. You don't even have to fire him. You can give him the opportunity to just say, I'm retired. You don't have to fire him. You can just say, Rob, you can make the statement that you're retiring after a long, illustrious baseball career. Take that path. Because it's time for a change. There's got to be someone else out there that can get the majority. Because while we need changes on this team, there's a lot of big contracts on this team. So some of these contracted players are not going to go away. So it starts with the manager. Lindor stepped up and did what a superstar would do. Absolutely. That grand slam literally, in the moment, ripped my heart out. Plain and simple. That's what, when you get guys getting chanted by the crowd, MVP, MVP. When that is what you're chanted at, and the Mets fans were chanting that at Lindor every at bat, MVP, step up in the big moment and make the big play. And he did that. I think in Harper and Turner stays because of their contract. Yeah, I know there's a lot of hate towards Turner, and Turner had an awful day yesterday. He had some awful at-bats. But you just signed him to a $300 million contract a year or two ago. You can't get rid of him now. I guess we need to give him another standing ovation to save him. That crap. I don't want to hear any more standing ovations. You can't get rid of those two guys. And you can't get rid of Wheeler and Nola because of their contracts. But you can move on from pretty much everyone else on this roster, and I could care less. Bats didn't show up besides Casty. Starting pitching was solid. Let's give a shout-out to Ranger Suarez. What a gutsy fucking performance, pardon my French, yesterday from him. Bullpen was horrible, which is crazy because they were so good all year. What are you going to say? You got to hit the ball to score runs. Yeah. Yeah. No plate discipline. No game plan at the plate whatsoever for the Phillies, Joe. And yeah, I know they're going to say, well, it's Kevin Long's fault. Well, Rob Thompson employs Kevin Long. We crushed Nick Sirianni all the time for his coordinator's failures. Well, let's crush Rob Thompson for his assistant's failures right now. But again, let's give credit to Ranger Suarez. If you would have told me after that first inning, through 30 pitches, got out of a base load jam, that he would have gotten through a 4 1/3 with under, I think it was like 81 pitches, and no runs given up, I would have laughed in your face and said, you're nuts. He gutted it out yesterday. Yeah, well, look, I don't know if they blow. I mean, they did have 95 wins, but what they don't have is the ability to win in the playoffs. Everybody's buying these We Own the East shirts. I don't really give a rat's ass about owning the NL East for 1 year. I want a World Series championship. That's all that matters. And that's why I refuse to buy shirts that don't say champions on them. I don't want an NL East shirt. I want a World Series shirt. Being right about something awful ain't it. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, well, I appreciate it. I'm trying. I'm not preaching. Today is for you guys also to vent and get your frustrations out. What you're feeling in the heart of it right now. Everybody tells me I'm wrong for wanting to fire Rob Thompson or just giving him the opportunity to fire himself by retiring. But I don't know why everybody wants to point the finger at every single person in the Phillies organization except for Rob Thompson because he's a cool guy. He's nice. He's what, dude. That Alec Bohm foul ball last night, pretty clear, a fair ball, right? Did he come out of the dugout? I know you can't review it. Let's have instant replay, but let's eliminate certain things, fair or foul balls that can be replayed. At least go out and ask for help from one of the other umpires. No, he just sat there in the dugout with his arms crossed, chewing his gum or whatever the freak he's doing. A real manager at least goes out and asks the managers to convene on it. And it's a judgment call on the ump. It's hard to overturn that. I get it. But let me tell you something. Rob Thompson not arguing that play is a summation of what he's done the whole entire career here. Rob Thompson may be a nice guy, but it's time for change. It is. But, Brian, if you say that, the Rob Thompson lovers out there will be like, well, who's going to be better? Who's going to win the amount of games I don't care how many goddamn games we win. All I care about is a World Series championship. Because this team is built for the big play home runs, our slugging percentage is great, but absolutely. Small ball. It's just not existent in Philadelphia anymore. Nobody knows how to manufacture a run in Philadelphia. Topper let Hoffman completely self-destruct. Look, the whole entire ball. No, let's not even talk about sending Hoffman back out there, not pulling him sooner. Like they had Hoffman warm up 17 times in the first 2 innings. The guy was gassed just from warming up in the bullpen. Man, Alec Bohm, I feel for the dude. I like Alec Bohm, the person, because of the way he handled his situation a few years ago with the I effing hate this place and then admitting it. I love that personality part of him. But the guy was just atrocious for the last 2 weeks. This week and last week and the end of the season. Just atrocious. I don't know what you do with Alec Bohm. Alec Bohm, Brandon Marsh, Bryson Stott, Johan Rojas, Kyle Schwarber, Nick Castellanos, JT Realmuto are all guys that if they got moved on from, I wouldn't bat an eye. Estevez won't be back. Hayes 2, won't be back. Hayes 2, probably Hoffman. Well, Hoffman's a free agent. Hayes has got 1 year left on his contract. Estevez is a free agent as well. So they probably don't bring any of those guys back. It's tough in Phillies land right now, but they're not that far away. But that being said, the right moves need to be made in the offseason. Dombrowski, you're up. Look, I'm putting Dave Dombrowski on the hot seat right now, Rick. What has he done each of the last 2 trade deadlines to improve this team? Nothing. Nothing. And what he's done, Hayes, I guess Hayes, you can give him a little bit of a leeway because he got hurt first, and then he had like a medical sickness. I don't even remember what it was. So maybe you give him a little bit of a pass. But his moves last year, his bad addition was Rodolfo Castro at the deadline. Dombrowski is not off the hook of criticism today. 2 bases loaded jams. We are going to survive a third one. Yeah. Screw the long ball stuff. I get they hit a lot of home runs, but they learned that in the Little League, how to play small ball, choke up. Yeah. Look, and that comes from the leadership of this team, the hitting coach, the manager, any of the bench coaches, the leaders of this team, Harper, etc. All they did was point the finger at Girardi when players were failing before. Now it's different for Rob. Absolutely. All had fantastic comment. I couldn't wait to get rid of Joe Girardi. I knew he had spent he just didn't care. If we go into next season with Rob Thompson, our manager, I'm telling you, it is going to be an epic disaster. It's very frustrating this morning. We should be talking about the NLCS. There's no accountability. There is no accountability. And who holds players and teams accountable? Coaches hold the players accountable, and the ownership holds the coaches accountable. Well, if John Middleton is serious about wanting his effing trophy back, well, he's got to fire Rob Thompson. He's got to consider firing Dave Dombrowski. I know that's a tough pill to swallow, but it is. Are we the only city that our professional sports teams are in the thick of things year in, year out? Imagine if we can't get over the hump. Look, somebody else said this to me before, Jose. Well, at least we're always in it and have a chance. I understand that. In theory, we always have a chance. But the Phillies didn't realistically have a chance. They did. The Sixers didn't realistically have a chance. The Eagles, they did. They collapsed. But the Phillies didn't really have a chance. Now that the Phillies season is over, we can now focus on the spiraling out of control Eagles. Oh, happy days. The Eagles are not spiraling out of control. We'll talk Eagles more later, maybe later in the show, but definitely tomorrow. I think the Eagles are going to have a big win on Sunday, and I think they're going to right the ship. I do. Well, go Sixers. I guess, Brian. I mean, that's not something to be too excited about either, is it? I mean, seriously. What are we even going to talk about with the Sixers? We have a bunch of personality hires. I don't even know. Like, this show, I thought I was just going to ramble on and bitch and moan. Like, I'm just like at the end of it right now. I'm at the end of my patience with this organization. What pitch is the most difficult for a home run hitter to knock out of the park? I don't know. Depends. Every batter, mister, has a different pitch and a different spot and location that they like the ball. Lefties like it down and in. Everybody loves a fastball down the middle. Some people love a hanging curveball. That changeup down and away is always tough. A slider is always tough unless it hangs. I'm listening, Carr, and you are so wrong on a lot. I am not wrong, Mark. I know there's a huge portion of the fan base like you that thinks Rob Thompson has no reason to be criticized whatsoever. And I think you're dead wrong. I appreciate your opinion. I appreciate you listening in the car. Everybody that listens on the radio should not. They should be listening to me in the car. I get that. But the part of the Phillies fan base that is willing to constantly let Rob Thompson off the hook for being the dumb, drunk uncle at Thanksgiving that everybody loves, instead of a manager that's going to hold players accountable, make right decisions on a regular basis, that's going to have discipline in his locker room. I don't want to hear another goddamn walk-up song getting sung along to by the fans. I don't want to hear Dancing with My Own one more time. I don't want to hear about clubhouse vibes anymore. I don't want to hear what they did this after every base hit. They used to do this. They used to do this after every hit, whatever the hell they are. Like, I don't need any of that shit anymore. I want a team that's disciplined. I want a team that's going to get the job done. I want a team that is a manager that's going to stand up for them when there's a play that's obviously wrong. Rob Thompson is not it, guys. I said it after the 2022 season. And here we are after the 2024 season, and it's still the case. And I don't understand why nobody can see it, because he's a nice guy. It will be interesting to see how our pitching rotation would look next season. Who stays? Starting pitching, Wheeler, Nola, locks. Sanchez, lock. I don't know what they do with Taijuan Walker. They're going to try to get rid of him somehow, I'd hope. Rangers, Suarez, I'm on the fence with. And Andrew Painter is going to the Arizona Fall League to pitch. So maybe he's the fifth guy in the rotation next year. I know they're going to have him on an innings limit. But your bullpen's going to be majorly overhauled. But the starting rotation is going to be pretty much what it is with Andrew Painter, Jose. It's the lineup and the bullpen that should see some changes. I don't understand why Topper and the high-priced players are getting a pass. Exactly. They all choke. No sense of urgency. That goes right into the discipline and everything else I'm talking about. There is no sense of urgency. And you know who creates a sense of urgency? Your manager, your leader, your boss. But he doesn't do it. If the fan base accepts this is what you get. Exactly. If you are okay with Rob Thompson being the manager, then you can't be mad this morning or disappointed this morning that the Phillies lost. Because he is a major part of the problem. He is not the only problem, but he's a major part of the problem. He just is. I mean, he's part of the problem. Trey Turner's part of the problem. Look, Dave Dombrowski's part of the problem. And if major changes don't happen this offseason, then John Middleton is part of the problem as well. I hate to say it. I mean, Travis is on board with me as well. I mean, look, it's frustrating as all hell. See, if you know the Phillies swing for the fences, then just throw pitches they can't. Absolutely. I mean, they know, mister, that Nick Castellanos will swing first pitch every at-bat. So you know what they do? They throw a slider outside, and he swings and misses it all the time. I know Nick Castellanos had a big hit last night, but Nick Castellanos' overall plate approach is part of the problem. They never say anything to him. They just let him be. And we love the vibes of these players that Rob Thompson's allowed to fester and grow. Well, those vibes are nonchalant vibes that don't have any sense of urgency. And it's frustrating as all hell. If you would have taken, if the Phillies, and you put all the diehard Eagles fans on the Phillies, in Phillies Nation, this team would get crushed right now. But Phillies fans are so casual. So it's okay. We'll get them next year. We've got 2 World Series championships in over 140 freaking years. 1 in my lifetime. I'm tired of it. It's frustrating. It's unacceptable. Home run, put asses in seats, but small ball gets you through droughts and famine. Absolutely. Chicks dig the long ball. I get it. And you can have home run hitters on a team, but you got to have some players with some plate discipline as well. I mean, Bryson Stott should not be swinging for the fences every time he's up there. Brandon Marsh should not be swinging for the fences every time up there. But that's what they do. Because what the leaders have done has been contagious and trickled down to the rest of the clubhouse. And no one held the leaders accountable, the manager. Ah, man. Maybe bringing Dallas Green. Is Dallas Green even alive still? Larry Bowa type. You know what? You might need a little bit more of a personality in the manager. I don't know if it works big picture anymore in this day and age to have the Larry Bowa type, the Billy Martin type. I don't know if that works. Tito Francona. I don't know if that necessarily works in this day and age. But you need a disciplinarian. You do. And I don't know who that is. So anybody on Twitter that's going to tell me all day long, well, who do you want instead of Rob Thompson? I don't care. I don't know. It's not my job to hire the manager. That's their job. I'm just telling you the current manager isn't it. You'll never, I've said it, like I said again, I'm going to say this 5 times more today. I've said it since the end of the 2022 World Series. We will never win a World Series with Rob Thompson as our manager. Never, ever, ever. And you know me, guys. I'm always willing to admit my mistakes and my bad takes. That is one take I don't think I'll ever have to admit I'm wrong on. Matty B says, pitchers and catchers report February 12th. Oh, my God. And I'm already pulled right back in. Who's going to be the manager of the team? Who's going to be here? Who's not? I'm not worried about the offseason for a little while longer. I'm going to turn baseball and Phillies off in my mind after today for a little while. I actually might. See, it's a funny thing. Sometimes when the Phillies get knocked out of the playoffs or have a bad, run like this, my first thing is when I'm disappointed like this, I turn the sport off completely when I'm massively disappointed. This isn't one of those times. I am not at the point I'm going to continue watching playoff baseball this year. Why? Because this is just what I expected. And Phillies fans as a whole should have expected this because this is who they are. This is who they've been forever. This is who the Phillies are. Just okay. 33-33, I think it is, since the All-Star break. Well, now you add in the playoffs, so 34-36 since the All-Star break. That's not a team that's committed to winning. That's not a team that's going to win a championship. Look, if contracts weren't an issue, if the salaries weren't so enormous for some of our players, there is not one person on this Philadelphia Phillies team that would be free of being considered to be traded. And I guess that means Bryce Harper and Trey Turner and all the favorites. I don't want to trade Bryce Harper, obviously. I'm not saying that. But changes need to happen on this team. And everything has to be on the table and up for discussion. Because this is disappointing. This is a letdown. This is not what if I'm John Middleton and I spent $300 million on this team, plus do state-of-the-art everything for you to make your job as easy as possible, and you fail like this year in and year out, There's something wrong. I would be pissed off. If I spend $10 an hour on an employee and they don't perform up to par, I'm pissed off. Imagine spending $300 million on your employees and them failing. How pissed off they are. It's frustrating. Well, I'm glad you agree, Teresa. Most people don't agree with me right now. If you're not pissed off this morning after this collapse and not caring and non-caring attitude, you're not a fan of the Phillies. Why accept slop? Because Robbie is a nice guy? So hold on. So I'm not pissed off this morning because this is what I expected. I do care. Now, there's a fan base that's pissed off but says it's not Rob Thompson's fault because nothing is ever Rob Thompson's fault. It's always everybody else's fault. Again, because he's the drunk uncle that lets you sip out of his whiskey at Thanksgiving when nobody's looking. He's a cool guy. And it's ridiculous. 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 And it's driving me up a freaking wall right now. Literally, it is. Now, Rob Thompson may not get fired. He may just go off into the sunset and retire. But Rob Thompson should not be here next year. He just shouldn't. Guys, there's a lot of people watching on Facebook right now. The Facebook page will be going away eventually. So in the link, I put in the chat in the Facebook room a link to the YouTube page, STT Sports Network. Please, if you can, click the subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. Going forward and eventually, that'll be the only place you can catch Trending in the AM and all my great Philly sports shows that I do. So please, I'd greatly appreciate it. The March, we're at 163 subscribers in just in a week's time. I'd like to get to that to 200 by the end of the week. So please click subscribe. I'd greatly, greatly appreciate it. Good morning, John. How are you? New batting coach. We need a new manager. 100% agree. Thompson got to go. Center field, left field, revamp the bullpen. Andrew Painter. Turner switch to second, Stott to shortstop. Just piss. Yeah, look, yeah. All that can be on the table, John. Everything. But it starts first with the manager. Before you make player changes, you've got to make a decision on your manager. And Rob Thompson's one of the guys that's got to go. He just has. Topper never put this team in uncomfortable situations all year. He just let them be. And they got to the playoffs. They didn't know how to respond because they were they didn't know how to respond to adversity because they were never forced to handle adversity. Don't worry, we'll get them next time, slugger. When Rob Thompson talks to his team, don't worry, guys. We'll get them next time. I don't want to hear that shit. I don't. When you play small ball, the outfield plays in. When the outfield plays in, you get extra base hits. Look, basic baseball, mister. You don't just know football, you know baseball too. Basic fundamentals of baseball are at a loss with this Phillies organization. And again, some might say it's not Rob Thompson's fault. Maybe it's just Kevin Long's fault. Maybe it's just somebody else's fault. But no. It's Rob Thompson's fault. You can't walk him, Phillip. You can't do it. Right-handed relief pitching gets a long look. The whole bullpen's going to get revamped probably in some sense. It has to. And I don't know who you keep, who you don't keep. Jeff Hoffman is a free agent. Estevez is a free agent. I think Strom's got 1 year left on his deal. You got to make changes. Ryan Kirkring, young kid. Maybe he stays. Well, he probably does stay. I don't know what you do with Alvarado anymore. I don't know. The whole bullpen needs to be reevaluated and restructured completely. Morning, Jim. I'm lost for words this morning. Don't even know who to blame today, but first person who needs to go is Thompson. It's funny. It's like most of you are on my board, are on my same side on the Rob Thompson criticism. But on social media, on Twitter, I'm getting crushed because of my Rob Thompson opinion, so to say. And it's hilarious, the difference between Twitter responses and this show responses. Because when we talk Eagles, you guys don't mind disagreeing with me. But when we're talking Phillies, pretty much all of you are on board with what I'm saying with the Phillies. It's crazy how one sport we're all linked together and the other sport we're always at each other's heads with. And don't you dare blame the bye for causing this. You have 3 other teams that had a bye that are, yeah, absolutely. Don't hear the bye. I don't want to hear the bye week. Not at all. Now, I will say the stats did not line up well for Cole Hamels with the bye. I'd seen going into Cole Hamels' start a couple days ago that his numbers going on 9 days rest were, he had a 6+ days rest. Cole Hamels had a 10.59 ERA compared to a sub-3 on all other things. So maybe the bye didn't help him. But man, it's got to be better. It's got to be better. I was raised in the era of sports where baseball was played the correct way. Absolutely. But I was also raised in an era, mister, where you could get cut in Little League. Now everybody makes the team in Little League. I got cut in 6th grade for my first time trying out for a Little League team. And you know what I did? I used it as motivation. I used it as, hard, a little tough love. And I got better. Middleton needs to get serious if he wants his trophy back. The philosophy of the long ball needs to change. The philosophies change when the manager changes. Okay? That's part one. So if John Middleton is serious, he's got to get the philosophy to change by changing the manager. All right? And then he's got to sit down with his new manager and be like, what do we need to change on the roster? It starts with Dombrowski and Thompson, then the coaching staff. Well, if Rob Thompson's fired, then the rest of the coaching staff probably goes too. Yeah. If Rob Thompson lets everybody keep their jobs, if he comes out today and says, Rob Thompson's got my full vote of approval, and so does Dave Dombrowski, they'll figure this out next year, then John Middleton's the problem, and he's full of shit. Plain and simple. There is zero way that I could take John Middleton seriously if he does not make drastic changes. It starts with him. You can't fire the owner, so he's not going to go anywhere. I don't know who Rolo Tomasi is, but I know who shouldn't be the manager of the Phillies. And that's not Rob Thompson. I'm just not that upset or surprised. Exactly. See, Noobs, that's why I'm not pissed off today. Because I'm not upset. I'm not surprised. I'm upset. I'm not surprised. Because I've been saying this since 2022. Baseball playoffs is a crapshoot. I don't agree with that necessarily. When things get stale, you need to make something happen. Fun for a base hit, dictate the pace, purposely foul balls off. Absolutely. Absolutely. Not let a pitcher get into a groove. But still, now I'm not as on board with other people that it was 100% a foul ball last night off of Alec Boehm's bat. But everyone else seemed to think it was 100% a foul ball. And you can't replay it. But the fact that Rob Thompson didn't even step out of the locker room or step out of the dugout to even argue or question or ask the umpire that made the call to question the outfield umpire or the home plate. Like what's up? What's up with that? Seriously. That just sets the tone for the team. Whenever something goes bad in a game, Rob Thompson's never there to get his players back. It's just well, it's all good. Whatever. It's not just dictate the pace. It's dictate the personality that you want of your team. If you want to dictate the personality of a calm, lazy, no urgency team, Rob Thompson's your guy. But if you want them to feel the urgency of the situation, Rob Thompson's got to go. I don't know. I'm not at the point of even thinking about who the next coach should be. That's not for me. That's for somebody else to put together a list of the top 10 potential coaching candidates next year. That's for them. But for me, I just know change needs to happen. I know somebody did tweet at me late last night, early this morning, Raul Ibanez. And I thought he was in an executive position, in a front office, not coaching. I know a few years ago, his name was bounced around major league circles for a manager jobs throughout baseball. I don't know. I don't care. But it's got to be somebody that's going to hold accountability to these overpaid superstars. That's what it needs to be. You need to go out and find the John Tortorella of baseball. Somebody that's going to knock some heads around. Oh, so we're up to 164 now. We need to get the subscriber count up. We had a big boom the first 2 or 3 days, and now it's 3 or 4 a day. I need a big boom on subscribers, guys. Let's get to 200 before Monday, before I do the Overreaction Monday show, please. This team needs a more energized manager and coaching staff. What we have is too calm. Whether it's energy or accountability We just need different. I hope I'm okay there. That was a fair ball. If any part of the ball goes over the bag in the air, it's fair. But Rob Thompson did nothing. Rob Thompson just sat there. Not even flinched. His facial expressions didn't change one iota. Matty B saying Don Mattingly or Dusty Baker. Sure, I don't care. As long as it's not Rob Thompson, then maybe there's a chance for an attitude change on this team. I don't care. Dusty Baker's isn't he too old to coach? Now you're intriguing me with the names. Isn't Dusty Baker like 85 years old by now? At least it feels like it. Don Mattingly, he's had some success and then some failures as a coach. Sure, whatever. But Dusty Baker, isn't he like 400 years old at this point? So, I mean, you are pretty heated about Rob. Doc Rivers or Rob. They're the same. I knew we were never going to win a title with Doc Rivers. I know we're never going to win a title with Rob Thompson. I said it when we hired Doc Rivers, I didn't like the hire. I said it when we gave the official title to Rob Thompson, that I understand why they did it, but it shouldn't have been a lock and guarantee. A guy that's prepared to retire at the end of the 21 season, begged to come back as a bench coach, forced to be an interim manager because somebody had to take the job. His heart's never been truly in it. It's been cool. He's the cool uncle. I'm not heated about Rob. I don't even want to use the words "I told you so," but I told you so. It was a foul ball. You want AI robots, bad calls like that, or how you get more AI robots. Yeah. Look. All I wanted was Rob Thompson to step out of the dugout and not even pissed off way, just go to the umpires to convene on the play. And maybe a different umpire would have seen it differently. That's all I wanted from Rob Thompson. You don't got to be Nick Sirianni getting fired up in the face of the referees, but you got to at least show some life. And when you're not willing to show life or get the backs of your players, how can you expect the players to have a sense of urgency or any fight or any desire or any want whatsoever? In every sport, the players of a sports team take on the life and personality of their manager or coach. And the Phillies players have the personality of Rob Thompson. You know, dry, boring, don't care. That's what it is. You've got to take, you're with these guys 170 days a year. Well, counting spring training like 200 days a year. You take on the life of the players or the coaches. And that's what you get with Rob Thompson. It's time I said, I don't even know. But Matty B says so, so yeah. The philosophy changed when the Phillies got that small bar park and the front office thought they could sell tickets with homers. It was different. The philosophy changed when they brought in Jim Thome to reinvigorate the fan base. My friend is an humper. What? I think you spelled something wrong. Umpires Division 1, 2, 3, and even agreed it was fair. I just don't get why there isn't. Why do you have instant replay, but something as basic as a foul or fair ball is not allowed to be replayed? Answer me that. Like, whether it's fair or foul, okay, we can't change that now because Rob Thompson did nothing about it. But what we can change is the rules. How do you have instant replay in a sport, but something as basic and bang bang as a fair foul ball is not replayable? Answer that. Can anybody give me an answer to why that's not challengeable? Why would they put a rule into place where we could challenge certain things, but a fair ball, foul ball, can't challenge that? Load of horse shit. I've been calling for Robbie's head as he does not want to change his lineup. Well, the top three, and he has no clue how to have a team fabricate runs or use a bullpen and how to get a team. Well, Michael, you're one of the few like me. Because, Michael, if you're just joining the show, I've been saying it for a long time. I've been saying it since 2022 ended. We will never win a World Series with Rob Thompson. Never. And that's pathetic that he's still got to be here. It is. Plain and simple. Now, again, I don't have the answer. I do not have the answer on who it should be. But it is what it is. And I know there's going to be people out there that say, I knew you were going to have a show dedicated to busting on Rob Thompson all day. This is just making you so happy. No, I don't want it. People think that the Phillies losing makes me happy because I get to prove my point that Rob Thompson isn't the guy. No. I would much rather be on this show today saying, I was wrong about Rob Thompson. We won a World Series. I would be so much more happier about that. But no, I don't get to be that. I get to say, I told you so. And that's not fun. This is not a moment that I want to say, I told you so. I want to say that I was wrong. That's what I want to say. And Michael, if you can, do me a favor, go through the chat. I put a link, Michael, for my personal YouTube channel, STT Sports Network. This show is going away on YouTube, on Facebook eventually. Okay? The only way you're going to see this show going forward soon is on my YouTube page or Twitter page. So make sure you find my YouTube page, STT Sports Network. I'd greatly appreciate it if you could find that. Click subscribe and watch on there from going forward. I'd greatly, greatly appreciate it. I put the link above. Guys, you're watching Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. I am Phil Stiefel. Guys, please hit that like button. Please hit share. Please let's share this show out. Please hit subscribe. Turn the notifications on. I'm doing shorts now on the YouTube page. I'm trying to do more shows. I've done some post-game and watch-alongs. Trying to do a lot more, guys, so I greatly appreciate it. I know the core 12's in, though, for the most part. Oops, I just missed, like, so many comments here. Why does a baseball field look like the Freemason compass? Oh, my goodness gracious. Current list of available managers. Are you going to give me them? Okay. John Middleton needs to pull the trigger on Robbie today. Just set the statement right away. Get first dibs on the managers. I agree. You can challenge rule interpretations, not judgment calls with the booth challenge. You can ask for a crew review for anything on the field. If the umpire grants you, the crew review it. I think that's just silly, too. Like, no offense. Like, I get how you're describing the rule, and I understand how you described it. But if you have replay, you should be able to replay pretty much everything but balls and strikes. And even that, we're going to end up with robot umpires doing that at some point in time. But it's just silly that you can't challenge. But what's more silly about it is you can ask them for a replay. You can ask them to convene about it. And Rob Thompson did nothing. Nothing. He just sat there, stood there, whatever he was doing. He did not budge an inch. And that is the problem with Rob Thompson. Team need a huge shift in plate discipline. Decide as you may how that happens. Managers take too much direction from front office analysts. Yeah, I mean, analytics are definitely a problem for sure. Fire Robbie and Dombrowski and go see if Theo Epstein would want the job. I doubt they fire Dave Dombrowski, but I have no problem talking about firing Dave Dombrowski because he hasn't done anything really. But give us bad contracts and make bad trades at the deadline. Plain and simple. Ibanez would be a great team president, but he's too high up. That's. I thought I remembered hearing that. Skip Schumacher could be a guy. There's a lot of guys. I'm not ready to dive into the who's yet. I'm not. I'm ready to dive into the philosophies they should bring, but that's about it. Well, Juan Soto sweepstakes, here we come. You can't bring in Juan Soto unless you start cutting some of the other big contracts, Drew. You can't have a team full of $300 million players. Juan Soto might be more than $300 million. Here's a list of players. Brad Ausmus, Yankees bench coach, former Tigers manager. Jeff Bannister, Diamondbacks bench coach. Miguel Cairo, national bench coach. Sure. I know some of those names. Most of those names. Actually, I know all those names. Any of them. I'm not ready to pick the next guy yet. I just know a next guy has to be found. And it better be somebody that's going to hold this team accountable and discipline. The clubhouse needs an enforcer like Darren Dalton. I thought Kyle was that guy. Yeah, they do. Who are the leaders on this team? Who are the clubhouse leaders? That's a problem. Because when the manager ain't getting it done, the clubhouse leaders got to get it done. Rollo Tomasi has got dude, at least somebody noticed. I even said Rollo Tomasi a few times in the show. 27 years ago this week, the most underrated movie of all time came out. Who is Rollo Tomasi? That's all I'm asking you guys. I'm glad that someone picked up on that. What's up, Stevie Fuentes? How you doing? Sorry I missed the shows earlier this week. Oh my God, I'm sorry to hear that. I'll text you after the show, my man. Phillies didn't help the issues at all, but I'm back like AJ Brown. Yeah, we'll get back to the Eagles tomorrow for sure. I want Ozzie Guillen as manager or Dusty Baker. That's the second pull on Dusty Baker today, for sure. Drew, it sounds easier than said than done. Who's going to take Trey Turner with what, 9 years? And he signed an 11-year, $300 million deal. So that means he's got about 9 years and about $240 million left. You ain't trading Trey Turner. No one's taking Trey Turner. Nobody. John Gibbons, Mets bench coach. Freddie Gonzalez, Orioles bench coach. DeMarlo Hal. Some of those names I don't know. But yeah, sure. Bring them all in. Interview them all. When you pay your employee $10 per hour, what do you consider $10 worth of labor? Well, we pay the Phillies a lot more than $10 an hour. Maybe, Kevin. Maybe that's the next answer. Maybe the next manager will move the lineup around a little bit. Maybe. Man, Duck's really doing research on managers here. Don Mattingly, Charlie Montoya. I just want to be able to say Montoyo a lot. Mike Redmond. Maybe. There's some good names there. Jace Tindler. Walt Weiss. Maybe. Look, any of them. I don't know who these names. I don't know which one has which philosophy. But what I do know is that a change in philosophy is needed. And when that change in philosophy happens, then you can start looking on who you're cutting, who you're trading, who you're signing, who you're keeping, what the team needs to be and what the team needs to look like. That all happens afterwards. But you start by making that change in manager. And I'm telling you, if we keep Dave Dombrowski, he changes the manager, and it's another disaster, then Dave Dombrowski needs to go too. I like Trey Turner, but giving him it was an 11-year deal at that age with a no trade clause is a horrible contract. It's virtually impossible to trade Trey Turner at this point. You're stuck with him. Maybe you move him over to second base. Maybe you trade Bryson Stott. I'm ready to break up the daycare unit. I don't want to hear just like I don't want to hear walk-up music being catchy, and I don't want to hear dancing on my own anymore, and I don't want to see them making funny hand signals after base hits anymore. I don't want to see any of it anymore. I don't want to hear about the word the daycare unit ever again. Alec Boehm's 28 freaking years old. He ain't no daycare unit anymore. I'm over all that. The cool vibes of this team. Over it all. I don't want to see them partying at Xfinity Live anymore after losses or wins. I don't care anymore. I just want winning baseball. That's all I want. More names here. Look, again. Yeah. More names here. Man, you are on fire, Duck, with all the names here. I can't even repeat or mention them all because you are just firing them off. Schwarber's a free agent. Let him walk. I think he's got one more year left on his deal, Schwarber. Schwarber's got 1 year left, and Castellanos has got 2 years left on their deals. You could probably trade Schwarber if you had to, or you could if somebody wanted him. 1 year left at his price. That's not bad. I would consider trading Castellanos. I would. One of Castellanos or Schwarber could get moved on from. In my opinion, I would have no problem with it. More names. Will Venable, there's a name. Johnny Washington. Man, you literally listed like 37 guys so far. And you know what? Fine with it. Kevin, you're not wrong. Fire the guy who signed Taijuan Walker. That was another one of the many things that I have to say I told you so. I got crushed on this show many moons ago. When Taijuan Walker was signed, I said it was an awful contract. Everyone's like, oh, no, he's going to be really good here in Philly. No, told you then. Just like I told you back then that Rob Thompson would never win a World Series as a Phillies manager. And yeah, I'm fine with it. I think there's a solid chance Rob Thompson's gone. Whether he's fired or let to retire. He can call his own shot and say, I'm going to walk away. But, Kevin, I don't think they fired Dave Dombrowski, but I would be at least having that conversation if I'm John Middleton. If I'm serious about getting my freaking trophy back, the guy that signed Taijuan Walker, the guy that signed Trey Turner, the guy that traded for Hayes and Estevez and Rodolfo Castro, that's who I'm trying to hold him accountable. I'm going to give a hard talk with Dave Dombrowski. Phillies need a left fielder and a fifth starter. Crawford, I'm very high on Justin Crawford. And the fifth starter is going to be Andrew Painter, who is reporting to the Arizona Fall League soon to pitch. So Andrew Painter should be here next year. We lost cause. Casty lives in Ben Simmons. I think he moved out of that before this season started, Mitchie Poo. Don't quote me on that, but I think he moved out of it. That's how much I want to see changes on this team. We have a major decline going World Series. Yeah, it was the same thing that happened with the 08. 07, we made the playoffs and lost. 08 World Series, then it was NLCS, NLDS, and then gone again. Same thing happened. How about Chase Utley? I love the name Jimmy Rollins. I don't know if he wants to coach, but I've brought this up before. Mid-season, I brought up the idea because he already works for the Phillies in some form of capacity of Jimmy Rollins becoming an assistant coach or a bench coach of some kind. I don't know if Jimmy Rollins wants to coach, but I think Jimmy Rollins is smart enough that maybe he would be a good opportunity. Yeah. I knew Schwarber was one more year. I was pretty sure Real Muto was, but I wasn't positive on that, Matty B. I'm putting JT Real Muto. You know, if you got to move on from him, you got to move on from him. Whatever. I don't care. Every player is on the table to be moved at this point, just like the coach. Back to this, though. I don't know about Chase Utley. I don't think he's really ever shown any interest in coaching. I could be wrong about that. I think Jimmy Rollins has shown. I think he was even like an assistant coach on the World Baseball Classic team, Team USA, I think. So Jimmy Rollins is a name. That'd be interesting. Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492. I don't know. I guessed on that year. I know it rhymes somehow, but I don't know. Not a $330 million Bryce fan. Look, I'm a Bryce Harper fan, obviously. Love the guy. And he wears his heart on his sleeve. I get that. But when you have a team of home run hitters, and a team of guys that aren't held accountable, Bryce Harper is just part of the problem. If you had a well-disciplined team with Bryce Harper current in it, then things might be different. If that makes sense there. Like Bryce Harper is just one of many guys that act the same exact way. Bryce Harper on a team built with different kinds of players might work out better. Trey Turner ain't going anywhere. Bryce Harper, I don't want Bryce Harper to go anywhere. I really don't. Bryce Harper is a steal at, what's he, $26 million a year or whatever it is? He's a steal. So, not moving on from him. And you can't trade Turner. I would trade Turner if you could, but you can't. But if you can't trade Trey Turner, you move Turner back over to second, you trade Bryson Stott, and you put Aiden Miller at shortstop. Let the kid go. Let's bring up the next, daycare unit. Him and Crawford. I think you missed a few. Sweet Lou Brown. Jimmy Duggan. Oh my goodness. Oh man. There's a few more out there too, for sure. The Phillies need a veteran manager. You got a bunch of veteran players that need to be pushed over. You don't need a young manager that's going to be here for the next 10 years. You don't need a manager that's going to groom these players into pros. You need a guy that's going to get them over the hump to win a World Series. Because there is talent on this team. Yes, we need to tweak a few positions. Yes, we need to revamp the bullpen a bit. But you got four great starters, four good starters, great starters. You got solid superstars in line. Remember, we had 8 all-stars this year. You need a manager that's going to discipline them, hold them accountable, give them a sense of urgency, and push them over the top. Which one that is? We're going to find out. Live by the sword, die by the sword. Live by the home run, die by the home run. I get it, Robert. And it sucks. I wish it happened already. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to refresh Twitter right now. Maybe it's already happened, and I just don't see it because we're too busy vetting it. But no, of course it hasn't happened yet. I would love it to happen right now, but it hasn't happened yet. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Yeah, no, you keep spamming the chat. Spamming the chat helps the algorithm. The more people commenting, the better it goes. Maybe I can get one more subscriber before the day's out. If you keep spamming the chat, Jet Duck. But, it is what it is. Rob Thompson is got to go. And again, I just want people to remember, I like Rob Thompson. Rob Thompson has brought us some great memories in his 2.5 years as Phillies manager. But he hasn't brought us the memory, which is a World Series championship. And that's all that matters. It sucks that Terry Francona was hired by the Reds, as he would have been a good fit. Yeah, I would have considered bringing Terry Francona back. He's got that personality and that veteran, coaching leader experience to maybe push this team over the top. I said it too. One and done. I got told by so many. Where are all the Phillies reporters, all the Phillies content creators, all the Phillies media? Don't worry. They got the best record in baseball. Don't worry. They'll be fine. Don't worry. We have 8 All-Stars. Don't worry this. Don't worry that. And I kept saying, they're an average team. They've been an average team since London. But don't worry. They'll turn it on. They have look at how great they were in April and May. It's freaking September right now. It's October, right? Not even September. It's October right now. It's not May anymore. This Phillies team, the way they started, should have been pushed a little harder to break out of these slumps a little quicker. But they didn't. And here we are. We're here at this point because of the manager. It's called emotion last night. There was none. There was no emotion last night. There was no emotion, no nothing. Sorry, I have an important text message I got to respond to. Sorry, guys. Got to work, man. Got to work at some point. Got to pay the bills, since this doesn't pay the bills, because that's what's important. Bills got to be paid. No emotion, no fire. Nobody was pissed off. I hate the positive Percy's about the Phillies, and they know who they are. And I'm not a receipt guy. I could pull the receipts, Mitchie Poo. I could. There's a lot of guys I could pull receipts on right now, but I'm not going to do it. And those same people that I could pull receipts on are the same ones telling me it's not Rob Thompson's fault. Not 1 ounce of Rob Thompson's to blame. It's everybody else's fault to blame. And just it's nonsense. Nonsense. They played and pitched scared. Well, the starters didn't pitch scared. But let's be honest. Wheeler, Sanchez, Nola, and Ranger all pitched phenomenally in this series. The bullpen that was locked solid all year completely crumbled before our eyes. The hitters hit scared, swung scared. That's for sure. It's funny, Robbie benched Bone for being 2 and 31, but when Bryce was 3 for 23, Robbie didn't sit him. When people don't run out ground balls, they don't get benched. When they make mental errors in the field, they don't get benched. Nothing. There was a moment earlier, or a month or two ago, when Bryce Harper didn't run out a play that he could have beat out. And instead of benching him, he went to Rob Thompson and said, "My bad." And Rob Thompson said, "Cool, no problem." Like, no, it is a problem. It's a major problem. Think back to how many times that Charlie Manuel benched Jimmy Rollins for not hustling. He wasn't afraid to bench his all-star MVP, rookie of the year shortstop. He wasn't. Because you got to set the tone like that. Quintana almost has many balls as strikes, was let off the hook. We let him off the hook. I do remember seeing one time the graphics, they would put the splits up there. It was like 31-31. We got beat in the last 2 games, Nooms, by junk throwers. The last 2 pitchers threw junk up there. And we just swung at the junk. Swung it. No, I'm not a receipts guy. No, I don't do it. That's cool. But please hit subscribe, guys. And if you're watching on any platform but the STT Sports Network, I please ask you to go find the STT Sports Network YouTube page. I've put it in the chat multiple times, guys. I'd greatly appreciate a subscribe on my YouTube channel. I do more than just the morning show on there. I'd greatly appreciate it, please. And please, those that are watching, please share this out. Please. I ask you all, just click that share button and share it on one of your social media platforms. It would mean a lot to me. Taijuan and Topper should get a room. Look, I don't know how you move on from Taijuan Walker. There's still $30-some million he's owed. You're just going to walk away from that too? No one's going to trade for Taijuan Walker. But you can't start him. There actually isn't. If Andrew Painter's back next year, there is no room on this team for him anyway. So 10 likes. Please hit that like button, guys. I need that. I know a lot more than 10 people have watched this show on YouTube. Bohm swung at a pitch 3 feet out of the zone. It's typical. Typical. The other thing I noticed was how emotionally the players just weren't invested. A lot of head hanging, a lot of shoulder slumping, a lot of that yesterday and in game 3. Like, there's no, like, they were defeated before the series started, it felt like. Their energy level after game 1 was just gone. They were packing their bags after game 1. They didn't think that they even had a chance in this series. And let's give some credit to the Mets. The Mets played phenomenal. They're red hot. And whether they face the Dodgers or Padres, it's going to be an awesome series. If you're just a pure baseball fan, the Mets have that never give up attitude that the Phillies used to have. The fighting Phils are really the fighting Mets this year. But the vibe, this team is full of vibes. The aura. It was off. It was down. It was disappointing. Straight up. That's what happens with sluggers, especially desperate sluggers. They start losing their pitching discipline. Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't have a hot take. I got a disappointing take, and I have to update the graphic. The hot take graphic. I got to get it without a certain logo on it, a certain new logo on it. Schwarb's really hit the piss out of that foul ball. It's a shame he was all over the pitch, but no one hitting 101 on the black. Yeah, look. There was no sense of urgency. I think they really had given up after game 1. Like, I really, truly believe that, which is a shame. It is. And I do believe, I think it was Castellanos said after the game that they believe that they are the better team. They are the better team. They were just didn't play as the better team. And I really truly do believe, pure talent-wise, the Phillies have more talent than the Mets. Problem is, the Mets are hungry. The Mets want it. The Mets have discipline. The Mets have a leader that has their back and holds them accountable. The Phillies have the talent, but they're not forced to use their talent. There's not been situational hitting, but why are we surprised? Since Rob Thompson took over, this has been a problem. Since Rob Thompson, this has been a problem. They will trade Walker, but we'll have to pay like 3/4 of his salary. Probably. They did do it with Carlos Santana as well. He's still playing in baseball too, by the way. Francisco Lindor is a different person and has slowed down his heartbeat a ton. Lindor, man, let's hate to do it, but I have no problem doing it. Lindor, in a huge moment, you had the bases loaded twice early in the game. Ranger Suarez got out of it. Third time loading the bases, you had to think law of averages, they were going to score. Lindor came up to the plate with a plan and crushed that ball to eternity and ripped out our hearts. That's what MVP players do. Come up big in the big moments. And that's what Francisco Lindor did last night. The moment was not too big for him. It wasn't. Phillies, Sixers, and Eagles all seem like dysfunctional families. Just being a Philadelphia sports fan feels dysfunctional at this point. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Feels like dysfunction. It does. It really does. And I don't know. I don't even know how I'm going to feel tomorrow about this Phillies team. As you see, I'm not wearing Phillies red. I'm moved on to the Super Bowl. I'm moved on to the Eagles. Next week, we'll talk Sixers next week. Flyers start their season soon. I'm going to take a long break from Phillies thinking, from Phillies talk, unless breaking news happens at some point that Rob Thompson gets fired. This might be the last time we talk Phillies till Rob Thompson gets fired. Plain and simple. It really might be. So whatever else you got left in the tank to let out on this Phillies team, now's your time. please hit the like button, the share button, the subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. Please, guys, a lot of Facebook people here. Here's the link one more time in the chat. If you're watching on Facebook, click this link and hit subscribe to the STT Sports Network. I'd greatly appreciate it, guys. I really, really, really would greatly appreciate that. If you could do that for me, it would mean a lot. It really would. It really, really would help massively. It would be a big deal to me if you did that for me. As we try to grow this all new channel that I'm building here from the ground up. And as we talk this, what's next? How do we get over this? Why does the manager have to motivate grown men making 8 figures? Come on, mister. You know, I don't think you have to motivate them, but you got to hold them accountable. You got to instill discipline. You've got to, there is a job of a manager. You got to change the vibes. You got to mix things up when things are going bad. You got to keep that sense of urgency with your team. There is a reason why, coaches and managers exist in all sports. There is. You have to. Thank you, Duck. I appreciate that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Nothing but onwards and upwards right now. Onwards and upwards, Duck. All I can do is laugh. Yeah, I don't think I'm laughing this morning. I'm more like I just feel this morning. I don't feel pissed off. I'm not mad. It's just par for the course for the Philadelphia Phillies, for the franchise, for a franchise that is the losingest sports franchise in the history of sports. The history of sports. Dating back to the Gladiator days. No franchise has lost as much as the Phillies. And it's a damn shame. But yet I'm not allowed to criticize Rob Thompson. I'm not allowed to blame Rob Thompson for anything because it's not Rob Thompson's fault. Anybody that tells me today it's not Rob Thompson's fault, I'm basically going to give you the middle finger. Plain and simple. I just am. Just am. You've got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away. That's right, Kenny Rogers. You got to. You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, and it's time to fold them, and when it's time to walk away from Rob Thompson, it may be time to walk away from Dave Dombrowski. It's time to walk away from hand dances when you get on base. Where the hell did that shit even start? It's time to have walk-up songs that aren't sing-alongs with the crowd anymore. I don't want the time to walk away from daycare. It's time to walk away from Stott vibes. Not Stott vibes. Garrett Stubbs vibes. And I was one that wanted Garrett Stubbs vibes here. Time to walk away from it. Time to walk away from if I hear one more thing about the locker room playlist, I don't give a shit. I don't want to hear about, and I love the guy, Matt Growick, the celebrity chef that cooks all these team meals for the Phillies. I don't care about any of that anymore. I want to care about the team winning. I want to care about the team being hot at the right moment. I don't care about we own the NL East. I don't want to see this team next year clinch their playoff spot and celebrate because the playoff spot means nothing. Clinching the division means nothing. There's only one thing that matters. It's winning a goddamn World Series. And this team needs change to make that happen. Having worked for Dan Hifferty in the past, I can tell you the Flyers will not be dysfunctional as an org. I think Cam York, Oliver Bank, and Mitch Kuff will bring unexpected success. Excuse me. I don't know about unexpected success. I expect success from the Flyers over the next 2 to 3 years. I expect them to make the playoffs this year, the Flyers. I do. I do. So I don't know if it's unexpected success. Maybe the unexpected success would be a deep run right away. Maybe that would be unexpected. In fact, this is as excited I've been about a young talent since Tocchet That's sort of the most excited I've been for the Flyers since they traded for Eric Lindros back in, what was that, 91 or whatever. Still remember sitting in the back of my dad's van delivering newspapers and hearing that come on the breaking or the sports update from WIP, early in the morning. Yeah, I'd rather talk Flyers. I'd rather talk Union. Middleton today, fire Topper. Look, if he fires Topper today, I'd be shocked. I really would be. I think he's gonna release a statement that we're gonna evaluate things, we're gonna talk about things, blah blah blah. And I don't think they fire Rob Thompson. I think what they do is they tell Rob Thompson, we're gonna move on from you, but we appreciate what you've done. We'll give you the chance to retire and step away. I don't know why, but that kind of stuff happens all the time. They'll let him walk away gracefully. Maybe. I don't even, just like I don't want to hear these, dancing with your own and these hand signals. I don't want my manager to have a nickname. What the hell is Topper anyway? Is he part of Top Gun? Sounds like a name for a pilot in Top Gun. Oh, Rob Thompson, manager of the Philadelphia Phillies. No more. That's all I want. When did she become part of the Flyers? I see what you did there. Bryce Harper is on a private jet headed back to Los Angeles, eating caviar and getting his feet massaged. I don't know about that. I mean, he lives here in Philly. He's got a home here in Philly. And he's got kids, I believe, in school here in the Philadelphia area. So maybe not. But maybe. K1 joined the chat a little later today. How do you feel about the Philadelphia Phillies today? I know you're not a baseball guy, but you got to feel pissed off, disappointed, or just like me, it is what it is. Because it was expected. Yes, he was going to retire before he was talked into taking the assistant manager position in 2022. So now's a perfect time for him. Just ride off into the sunset. Sure. We can 5 years from now think of all the positives he did. Right now, I can't think of anything good he did. I just can't. I have nothing good to say today about Rob Thompson. I just don't. And he's not the only problem. And everybody might think, well, not most of you, but most people on social media will just think that I hate Rob Thompson. I don't. There's a lot of problems on this team. There's a lot of overpaid players that aren't worth the contracts they've got. There's been a lot of bad contracts given out, a lot of bad trades made. But here we are. This is where we're at. It's time to make drastic changes. And there are going to be some fan favorite players that are probably moved on from. Stott, Bohm, Marsh, any of those guys. Casty, Schwarber, all on the table. Rojas, on the table. They got to start making room for Crawford and Adam Miller. They got to make room for Andrew Painter. They need a lot. Fire everybody. Exactly. Just fire them all. Fire them all to the moon. That is what I got. I'm getting text messages from Mark Moschitelli here a few minutes ago. Saying I got him all fired up. Mark, I love you, Mark Moschitelli. I do. You're my man. I will always love you. But here we are with an I told you so. Plain and simple. We will never win a World Series with Rob Thompson as our manager. It is what it is. I know you love the guy. You want him to be your brother, your cousin. He's the drunk uncle at Thanksgiving that everybody loves, but nobody respects. He's the drunk uncle at Thanksgiving that everybody loves at Thanksgiving, but as soon as he leaves, everybody talks about. Not invited to the family group chat. He's not invited on vacation with the family. But you love him on Thanksgiving because he's fun and he's drunk. Need to get Marshawn ready. JT showing some age. Absolutely. He had some good throws at second, but his hitting has declined rapidly, Nooms. Luckily, we've only got one more year on his contract. JT might be somebody that gets moved. A catcher of JT's caliber, still good, not great. With only 1 year left, someone might give you something for him. Matty B was right. So was I. I've been saying this about the Phillies since 2022. Sorry, but I was right. I'm taking the moment to say I was right. I was. There's very few of us, Mitchie Poo, that were right on this one. Very few. But you know what? I don't want to be right on this one. Because if I was not right on this one, that means the Phillies are still playing baseball right now. That means the Phillies probably win a World Series. I want to be wrong today. I do. But I'm not. You're not. We're not. And it drives me nuts. It makes my head hurt that I'm right on this one. Sometimes I love saying, yo, told you so. I don't want to say that this time. Hurts was upbeat at his press conference yesterday. Yeah, man. Sound like Hurts and Nick Sirianni were back together again. Hurts and Sirianni are singing Kumbaya in circles now. Go listen to the Eagles check down on this channel, mister. It's my short little show. I did talk about the press conference and the coming out of the bye week a little bit there. And we'll talk a lot of Eagles tomorrow, obviously, with the Browns preview, keys to victory and all. There's a Thursday night football game tonight that's actually a pretty solid game. 49ers head to Seattle to face the Seahawks. Seahawks are 3.5-point dogs at home. I'm taking the Seahawks not just to cover, but to win tonight outright. Okay, last week I was 10-3-1 on my picks. I'm at 43-33-3 on the season, predicting every game against the spread. Just throwing that out there. I had to look it up, but Rollo Tomasi is a character who basically destroyed everyone in it. Yes. If you have not seen LA Confidential, 27 years ago this week, it was released. It is one of my favorite movies of all time, the most underrated movie of all time. It is just a slam dunk movie with an amazing cast. James Cromwell, Russell Crowe, Guy Pearce, Kim Basinger, Spacey before Spacey was a scumbag, I guess. Well, he was probably a scumbag back then, too. Danny DeVito. I mean, the list of actors in that movie, the script was fantastic. It won multiple Oscars. LA Confidential never gets talked about the way it should, just so you know. I want to be right on this one because I don't know baseball. Okay, gotcha. I know more about baseball than people realize. He's getting AJ and Smitty back. He is, and Lane Johnson. So, yeah, all those guys practiced yesterday in full. Smitty has not cleared concussion protocol yet. But based off the fact he practiced in full, he should clear this week. So that is a positive. No, I did not. I predicted 89 wins. I pulled it up, actually. I predicted 89 wins, but a World Series victory. I did pull it up a few days ago. I think it was 89 wins I predicted. Just so you know. Pepperidge Farms remembers. Oh, man. I'm depressed. I feel like just going to Shady Maple and drowning my sorrows in cream chip beef. And, well, Scrapple's disgusting. But the rest of that sounds like a good idea. Yeah, when I get depressed, I eat a lot, too. Just say the Phillies aren't going to win the World Series, and your likelihood of being right is very high. Well, since they won 2 in over 140 years, yeah. I thought this year was going to be number 3. Phillies are the bad news Phillies. No, the bad news Bears actually rallied to win. The Phillies don't rally shit because they don't have a manager, a leader, anything. I've been questioning the leadership in the clubhouse for months and years. Where's the Dalton Dykstra Crook of this team? Where's the Rollins Utley Howard of this team? Where? My head hurts today. My head hurts. My feet hurt. Seemed a little deeper than that. Sounds like they fixed his turnover issues. Yeah, we'll get into this tomorrow, Mista, for sure. I was ready to criticize Nick Sirianni at first. Because he said something about he found a common thread on Jalen Hurts' turnovers and not just this year. I thought he was trying to take a dig at Jalen Hurts, but then Jalen Hurts talked and looks like they sang Kumbaya. They went on, what did Aaron Rodgers go on? A dark retreat? I think Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts went on a dark retreat, took some magical mushrooms, sang around a campfire, and just came back, and they are one singular unit now. I hate it. At my age, I can only have it every few months. I love me some good. No, it's disgusting. Disgusting. Go back to Jersey, Sonny. This is the city of angels, and you haven't got any wings. No fire in the dugout. Robert, you're spot on. There is no fire. No fire in the dugout at all. Phillies needed Pedro Serrano for Major League. I put out many Serrano tweets over the series. Nobody picked up on one tweet. I had a tweet that should have gotten him a live chicken. No one picked up on that line from the movie. But yeah, they needed something. They needed hats for bats. They needed to wake up the bats. They needed to do something. They needed to have a statue of something in the locker room, burning incense around it. But they didn't. I'm really pissed off that no one picked up on we should have gotten them a live chicken, because that was a perfect. No, they got him a chicken, Kentucky Fried Chicken. And then after he was up at the plate, then the Willie Mays Hayes says we should have gotten him a live chicken. She is Lana Turner. Phillies have no cojones. Yeah, that was from Major League 2. Okay, that was Major League 2, and then there was Major League 3. Back to the minors. The buzz. I love it. The Major League movie franchises. 1 and 3, great. 2, not so great. Had a sub out. Willie Mays Hayes, actor. It is what it is. Look, my coffee. You know how upset I am today? When is the last time, with 10 minutes left in a show, that I finished my coffee? When? I don't even know if I've ever finished a coffee. 10 minutes left in a show. It's just not what I do. I don't know that we want a Middleton nudity cutout in the locker room. Oh, no, we definitely don't. Definitely don't want that. Maybe they could do it with his hairpiece. Every win, you pull a piece of his hair off to see what he really looks like bald. For a guy that's worth billions of dollars, he's got a dollar store toupee and just loves it. I mean, how old is Jimmy Rollins? Asking for a friend. Old enough to be the manager. Not old, or too old to coach or play. Phillies need to rebuild like Moneyball. No, they do not. Not at all. Of all teams, the freaking Mets. I know Jacobo, Daniel. We'll just say Daniel. It does suck. Not just the Mets. The fact that our last two teams, the Sixers and Phillies, got beat by the Knicks and the Mets in back-to-back playoff series. Stab in the heart right there. Off the record, on the QT, and very hush. Dude, it's a fantastic movie. And why do people not put it up there in the upper echelons of movies, K1, Duck? Like, it should be in the upper, like, it's in my top 10 movies of all time. But most people don't put it up there. Not even close. It's definitely in my top 10. Because it's a phenomenal movie. The acting is phenomenal. The cinematography, phenomenal. I just read a thing on it. It took them 2 years to perfect that script. And I'm glad they took 2 years to perfect that script. Yeah, the Mets. Yep, exactly. It's going to be trifecta, and the Eagles are going to lose to the Giants. Stop. Don't do that to me. They're the New Jersey Giants anyway. Rounds would be better in the box hitting than about a third of these guys. At this point, he might be. Honestly. Last night, I had salmon, dirty rice, and asparagus. My wife is such a good cook, she doesn't even have to get a job. I'll handle it. I had filet, green beans, and scalloped potatoes during the Phillies game last night. My filet was way better than the Phillies game last night. Without a doubt. And that is for sure. Guys, I don't know if you heard me. I did predict Seattle winning outright tonight over the 49ers. We'll talk Eagles tomorrow for sure. Guys, you got to do me one more time. I'm going to ask, hit that like, share, subscribe button. For those of you watching on Facebook, please, I'm going to put it in the comments one more time. Please click the link I just put in the chat on Facebook and subscribe to my YouTube channel, the STT Sports Network. That will be the place eventually going forward. The only place you can watch Trending in the AM, the #1 sports morning show, the only show where your opinions matter. The STT Sports Network, setting the trends for what sports talk should be. EOP going away. STT is what it is, guys. How did this team? They should have won more than that. They were on pace to win like 115 earlier in the year. Don't start trying to do that right thing, boyo. You haven't done practice. Dude, they're so... And now I got to go watch it. K1, I got to go watch it again. I hope it's on. I hope I can find it. Ellicott didn't speak to you. No, 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 no. We can't be friends right now, Doc. It is a fantastic movie, Mulholland Drive, but LA Confidential, it's phenomenal. I also love timepieces. Kevin, you're in Florida. Well, thoughts and positive vibes sent to you. I hope you are safe. Hope you are well down there. Again, Milton really packed a wallop and really knocked a few people on their asses down there. I hope Lieutenant Dan, or whatever his name is, survived the storm down there. I had chicken vindaloo and bread because we didn't have any naan in the house. I'm not a huge Indian food fan. Maybe I just haven't had good Indian food. I would think curry and something to dip in the sauce is my kind of food, but maybe I just never had good stuff like that before, so I don't know. But yeah, thoughts with Kevin and everybody in Florida. No matter where you are in Florida, you're feeling the effects of Milton, and it's whooping some ass. I know a lot of people out there are having a tough time with it. Vindaloo, I don't even know how to say it, so it is what it is. Yeah, I hope, Kevin, you and your family are safe. Cole, my man, should have signed Carlos Correa instead of Trey Turner. Cole jumping in at the end, on fire here. Love it. Cole, I'll have to get you on soon. Talk a little Phillies with me. Actually, no, I won't, because you know what? This is it. There's 2 more minutes in the show today, and then I'm not talking Phillies till Rob Thompson is fired. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. You got 2 more minutes to say whatever. Anybody wants to say their piece on the Phillies, you got 2 more minutes, then this show gets wrapped up. And then we're done till Rob Thompson gets fired. That is it. That is all. I'm even going to start the background music a little bit here. So you can on the Phillies. And that's it. We're done. That's not a Phillies comment. You know that your team is trash when the discussion is about what you're eating. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. One statement and set the whole show ablaze. Yeah. Yeah. Cole doesn't comment enough. Cole's the man. Rolo Tomasi. That's right. 1 S or 2 S's? I thought it was 2 S's. I put 2 S's in it. Whatever. Guys, this is Training the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. I'm Phil Stiefel, at Bearded Knowledge on all social media platforms. Make sure you hit the like button, the subscribe button, the share button. I'm begging you all. Can I get to 200 subscribers before Monday's Overreaction Monday, Eagles Victory Monday show? That is the goal. 200 subscribers on my YouTube page by Monday morning. Please, get me there, guys. Every level we hit, it's easier and easier. So come on, let's go. Gotta get the super chats back, guys. Thank you. I appreciate it, Robert. Please find me on YouTube. I'd much rather you watch it. I love you watching no matter what, but there will come a day where that Facebook page you're watching on will not exist. So I hope you find my YouTube page going forward. Yeah, let's get our trophy back, I guess. I'm not even saying ring the bell anymore, because screw that shit. Like, Don Middleton will prove very soon whether he wants his trophy back. That's how we'll end this show right there. But guys, go Birds. Go Birds. Go Birds. Stand by me is what? Stop. You're going to be putting time out for that one right there. Guys, it's simple. It's go Birds. Going forward here. Bubbles up to y'all. Have a great day.